myself a promise, I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pregaming here on Sports Money, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. You know what it is. You know how we do. We stay ready to go. That way we don't have to get ready to go. And it's a big night tonight. So I hope you guys are ready to go. We got a big card to break down here with the hour we've got here at Pregaming. Hopefully we can move even faster despite the length of the card, because we start a live stream tonight at 7:15-ish. Kind of the focal game will be the TNT game here. The Milwaukee Bucks, Milwaukee, and they will be battling the Miami Heat. But you know the deal. There's 11 NHL games on the card. There's 100 some odd mid-major college basketball games on the card. There's a pretty full NBA card as well. So we'll get our friends involved, and we will get player props. We'll get some bombs. We'll get some parlays, some teasers, some NHL action, and of course, live betting galore. So get ready. It's Thursday. Hey, the bridge to the weekend. Thursday is connected to Friday. We kick our feet up for a little Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend action here. And a big weekend it's going to be. No UFC. Sadly, no UFC, but boy, Sunday makes way for two battles. The Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs will be the Sunday night game. The Eagles and the Commanders will be the 3 p.m. game. So that's going to be a ton of fun to get into. And away we go. Yep. Shout out. Rich J says cheers from Sabalenka Island. Well, I don't know if you're on Sabalenka Island. There's a lot of Sabalenka love yesterday. I was not one of them. But she did get 2-0. So shout out to you guys for making that happen. I know a bunch of you guys enjoyed that spot out there, and she got her done. 2-0 was like -110 too. It wasn't even that bad of an opportunity. So maybe she'll be able to go out there and take down, is it Swiatek? Not sure. But I think in the haze of last evening and a little spending some time with the friends, I think we fixed the green hue. Looks like we did. Looks like we did. How about that? Let's go. You know it's going to be a good night now. That's all we need, is a little kick in the right direction. And hey, look, yesterday was a day for sure. It's in the books. We were in the black or the green, however you want to look at it. It wasn't glorious. Hockey did us dirty yesterday. The Colorado Avalanche lose 3-2 in overtime. And then a full stuff at the end of that Florida Panthers game. The Kings get the win. The game stays under. And look, it was a winner. We talked about the +1.5. Probably should have had that +1.5 in the under in the parlay, but we are where we are. So we lost those 2 hockey games. Turned out to be 3 losses, unfortunately, because we double dipped Florida and the parlay with the under. And it's funny because I put it into BetStamp wrong. I actually chose the Kings in the under on the parlay, so I had to avoid that out and go back in there and take that L like a man. We'll take it. We'll own it. College hoops. Not too bad. Temple goes over the number. It was way too low. Thought it looked like a good. I thought it was low for a reason. Turns out it was a blow. Kansas State under for us, though. We got a 136.5 against 135. What else? Georgia. Easy under out there. They get 133 points. We had 140.5. So we cashed. We went 2-1 in college hoops. And I guess we had that little mini sweep in the NBA. We got Detroit Pistons, 114-104 plus 3.5. Money line, outright dog, but we got the 3.5. Houston plus 2.5. Woo! That was a sweaty game right there. 109-108. Lots of back and forth. And to close off the night with the Clippers. Nasty Nate. I told you, wouldn't be surprised to see the Clippers win it outright. Now, they didn't win it outright, but it went to overtime. They easily covered a plus 12 for us. Nets us 0.7 units, just under 41 net units since putting BetStamp in play out there. So we have been making some money, cashing some tickets. And I hope tonight is no exception because we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there's 10 plays on tonight's card and a juicy parlay. A juicy parlay. So we'll probably pop off the parlay early. So everybody has a chance to take a look at it, write it down, get ready to place it, find the best lines you can. I'll tell you, Bet Rivers was the best book I could place it at, and it's just over 6-1. 3-player prop, 6-1. It's all our boys. All the boys are going tonight. I'm looking forward to talking about that. But we'll be talking about hockey, a big slate in the NHL. I've got 4 games earmarked here. I've got some player props that we'll talk about through the NBA and sports betting stream. I've got some other plays that I'll probably get into as well. It's just a big slate tonight, and there were spots I didn't want to miss out on. So we'll go with the Yeti and the Minnesota Wild. I don't know why Minnesota's team always blank when it comes to there's like, I'm thinking Timberwolves, I'm thinking Vikings, I'm thinking anything but the Wild. But it's the Wild. It's the Yeti and the Wild. We'll talk Vancouver and Edmonton, a little strange twist on that spot. We'll talk about Pittsburgh and Anaheim. We'll talk about the Capitals and the Seahawks. Look at me go. Look at me go. The Capitals and the Kraken will be our 4th game in the NHL. Did I leave one out? Might have left one out. All right, we'll see if you guys want that play or not. I'm going to play it. Maybe I'll save it for later. Then we've got some college hoops. We've got Fairfield and Manhattan. The MAAC popping off here Thursday night, filling out that mid-major board for us. And that one starts at 7 o'clock, so we got to but we got to get through hockey timely. Then we've got Maryland and Illinois, a battle with 2 Big Ten programs. We'll close her off with the late night special. The late night special with a little Utah Valley Cal Baptist. What's going on with that spot? We've got 2 NBA games here. I know it's a big slate, and we're going to talk about this Bucks Heat game when we kick off live. So just to keep it fresh and interesting, we'll go Portland Trail Blazers and Orlando. Do you believe in magic? They'll be popping off at 7 p.m. And then we'll go to the late night side of the card at the 10 p.m. spot with the Bulls and Golden State Warriors. I think we have a nice look in that game as well. So, wow, it's a lot to say. Imagine getting out there and playing. We got to get this cash tonight. It's a big night for us. We've had 3 profitable days in a row. This week has been solid for us. We had a high watermark now with units being tracked, and I feel good about tonight's card. Had all day to look at it. You know the deal. We marinate on this thing all day. We got to find a way to fire and get that money into our pockets, extract it from the bookies' pockets. And I feel pretty good about the spot. There's one spot I wish I had waited about 45 seconds on, but that seems to be the story of my life lately. I put it in, and then the line moves against me. So let's see. If you watched me or if you saw me in the chat out there with our guy Ramon Scott this morning, we didn't get the under 140 in Coastal. Probably stubbornness. I had it yesterday. We saw the steam coming in on it. It really got postponed to today. And it just squirted over the number. But we're live right now. The -6.5 on the Tribe. The green and gold. Let's go Bill and Mary. 49-31 laying that 6.5. So let's see if we can't bring that one home to pop off the early action tonight. Like I said, there's a lot of plays that we got to get to. So we got to get moving. Now is the best time to do it. There's no time like the present. So let's fire away. You guys know the deal here. The way we pop this show off on a regular basis is by way of support. And that comes by hitting the thumbs up button. Look at all this content we're sharing with you guys on a regular basis, not just content for the sakes of content. You don't need to watch me eat a bowl of Lucky Charms. You want to hear about winners. You want to see live shows. We hear you guys. We know what you guys are looking for. We want to give it to you. So help us out. take the time to close the chat, smash that thumbs up button, then pop back in and we'll get to work. How's that sound? Appreciate you guys. Everybody rocking with us here tonight. Okay, let's go. You know the deal. Pen and paper time. The best in the business do assemble here. They're sharing their best bets. Their hard work all day grinding on this card comes to fruition right now. You're going to want to write this stuff down, of course. Make sure you put your best bets in the chat so we can talk about them. You know, we got comment there, numero uno. T with the 99.4% first comment ratio. And we'll see Joe T live tonight. He's got some plays for us out there. He's got the Capitals and the Kraken in the first period over 1.5 with some clarity or some clarification. He knows the Capitals are on 7 straight unders, but the Kraken are 9-1 to the first period over. Says Jover. J-Oaf. You know it. Guys, war on the unders. Has no bounce. He's ready to go. He's got that first period over Capitals and Kraken. Stop Geo's in the house. Give us a triple-double. The triple-double man himself. So let's keep the streak going. 5 in a row for Joker. 2 of his last 2 head-to-head with the Kings. Man, that makes me think, why not add a bonus spot in there and parlay it up? Maybe the double-double? Maybe the double-double? What's his number looking like here? That got me curious. You got me intrigued. Let's take a peek. This will be some fun stuff to talk with the fellas about when we go live tonight. It's about 7:15 we'll pop off here. So let me see. You got me intrigued. You got me intrigued. Offense. Triple-double. There's Sabonis at plus 450. Sabonis plus 575. Plus 575, I think, is the best. What's that? Where's that one? 596. I don't see where it is, though. Sabonis with the Joker? Stop, Gio. I like it. Good luck to you, my friend. Joe Dubs here. Oldie Nicholas Handy's rocking. Oldie says Xavier, team total under, went to overtime and pushed last night. I won't stop hammering it. All right. Won't stop, can't stop. Talk to Axon Jackson's in the house. Good to see you back, my friend. And we won't stop us here. My bankroll took a hit, Mikey. I need some fire picks. Hopefully I got some fire for you. Spit that hot fire, you know? Let's go. Barry's here. Rick J. Appreciate you guys hanging out, man. Ron Young. Axon Jackson's got the Sabalenka shout out there. Let's go, Barry. Trisha M's here. Says we'll miss the aura. Well, I think I figured it out. I think so. Rick J. What's he got for us here? Kings Nuggets in-game parlay. Plus 255. Monk 6 plus assist. Keegan over 1.5 threes and Sabonis over 1.5 3. There you go. Peter Gracia hit the Clips parlay in OT, pushed it over. Nice. Robert McCormick's rocking with us. Says, let's get that money. Philly Eagle Flyer likes the Sens Wild and Oilers parlay. Okay. Sens Wild Oilers parlay. Coins here. Says, yo, Mikey likes the Orlando under 213.5. James Parm's in the house. What's up, James? It's good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Sella wants to drill, baby, drill. Each and every starter guy, Keith's going to be rocking with us tonight. He's got the Hawks team total over 120.5. Shout out to Derek B. He's got the Nuggets and the trifecta. First quarter, first half, and full game. Appreciate you rocking, Derek. Tim Haynes here. Oldie says, Uncle Chief, what up? Abel A likes the Kings in the under yesterday. Yeah. Yep. The under was clearly the play. Done dirty in the NHL last night. I wasn't expecting an 0 spot there, but hey, what are you going to do? Shout out to AOD. Debbie Cabs in the house. I'm in the middle of a pitching lesson, and here's some douche in my pocket talking. Thought I pocket dialed, and I guess I opened Mikey. What's up, Debbie Cab? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Your boys tonight, Memphis. I'm kind of looking on the other side. Hope you're doing well, dude. Thanks for popping. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, Debbie. We know you're not a thumbs up guy, so make sure you take a second and do that for us. Appreciate you. Let's go, guys. We got to get to work. We got to catch some steam here. Pick up this pace. Tricky NHL card tonight. Mostly tricky by way of the lines. Difficult lines on where'd my notes go? Who took my notes? Why would I not have my notes out? I can do a show with no notes. The show would take about 3 minutes if I didn't have notes. Maybe that's what you guys want. Maybe. I don't know. I found them. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. We got these notes. We're ready to go. Okay. Ersson and Shesterkin. I'd go with the Flyers, but I really like the under. I saw some steam, some sharp bettors jumping in on this Rangers, but this line keeps dropping. That's problematic right there. 84% of the bets and 91% of the cash, and it's dropped from 162 to 145. I think you could probably get away with the Flyers and under spot, but nothing official. Sens in Boston, sharp betting report came in and was showing the Senators are taking the beating, and it shows in the number. 54% of the bets and 90% of the cash. It's gone from minus 110 to minus 155 for anybody that's interested. The Red Wings and the Canadiens. Got to take the Canadiens there. You can't fuck around with those Red Wings. They're dog shit. And then Carolina and the Blue Jackets. Now, here is the capital of the under. But they got Danny Tarasov and Frederik Andersen popping in goal. Yeah, Carolina's been winning. And what are you going to do? You're going to go lay $3.65 to try to win a buck? I don't know. And then on the underside of things, you got Tarasov and Andersen. And again, Andersen just coming back. This will be his second game back now from injury, but I don't know. Saved 22 of 25 shots. It was an overtime win against the Blackhawks, but the game went over. So that pushed me on down the line. Forsberg and Korpisalo in that Ottawa-Boston game. I didn't like any of those matchups, but we've got some action. We're ready to roll. We're going to pop this top. We're going to get some plus money plays out here as well. But today we start with the Yeti in the Wild. How about that? And when we look at these goaltenders, look, Utah, big deal for Utah. Connor Ingram comes back. He's back in the fold. He hasn't been killing it, but he's been playing. And they ran him back twice, which is big news because now they've got Vemelka, who kind of went through a little bit of a struggle. He'll be starting tonight. He had 2 days off, 2 games off. And he allowed 9 goals on 51 shots in those couple of games out there. 0-2 for an 82.4% save percentage. Yikes. On the flip side, Minnesota, guess who's back? Back again. Tell your friends. Kirill Kaprizov will be back in the lineup there. That is the number one dude in every offensive category for the Minnesota Wild. That's a big deal. Now, it's the first game the star player's back. Got it. And they'll go to Gustafsson in goal. He's their guy. But he was sick, so he's coming back fresh as a daisy as well. He had 2 games off. And he's been struggling. He's 18-9-3 with a 2.58 goals against average and a 91.4% save percentage. I mean, both these goaltenders have an almost identical profile. They were out for a while. They've had 2 games off, and they have both been struggling. Utah's offense, though, found its groove against the Winnipeg Jets with a 5-2 win. And I don't want to overcomplicate it. Let's just keep it real. Sharp report came in showing concern. And where are they showing the concern? They're showing the concern on the total. I don't disagree for all the reasons we just talked about. You're adding more firepower to that Minnesota lineup. Utah's found a little bit of firepower, and they both have struggling goaltenders trying to regain form. Ideally, they're not regaining form tonight, but the over 5.5 is the spot that I wanted to jump in on here. It's a little pricey at minus 130. Take the 6. You know what the problem is with the 6. Yeah, you'll get it around minus 105 or so, but then the push comes back in play, and this definitely has a 6-goal type of feel to it, like a 4-2, maybe even a 5-1. I think someone gets busted up, but I do think we see goals early in this thing. So Rick J liked the Utah polygamists. Okay. TJ says, is there a show tonight? There is, dude. We're rolling. Be around 7:15. Nice. Philly Eagle Flyers on the backyard ice rink listening. That's awesome, dude. Good for you. Peter Gracia says, we'll be scoring over. I think so. I think there will be scoring here as well. Jamie took the Mormons. Oh, man. I was thinking the Utah Sister Wives, but I guess I was alone in that one. So that one didn't seem to even make the cut. It was strange. I didn't hear anybody mentioning that one. Anyways, maybe that was a little off color. Was that off color? Amongst friends? Can I be okay? What? Am I backstage? Oh. Game number 2. We've already talked about this yesterday or the other day with the Edmonton Oilers factor. And what do we know about the Oilers? Well, Connor McDavid's out. He'll be out game number 2 of the 3-game suspension. We faded him the other day. We took the under. We talked about it. Why? Significant goal loss with one of the most prolific goal scorers in the NHL. Common sense. Vancouver Canucks, they're going to trot out Thatcher Demko, and Thatcher had some injury this season. So, yeah, you look at his numbers, 3-4-3 on the season, 3.23 goals against average, 87.3% save percentage. Had an extended absence. Comes back, saved 13 of 15 shots. They beat the Oilers 3-2. Is there bad blood? Then we look on the other side of things here, and Calvin Pickard will be going in goal. Skinner has been struggling on the Edmonton Oilers side of things. And they'll go to Pickard, who's been a pretty solid backup. 11-4, 2.53 goals against average, 89.7% save percentage. He's a backup. If he could just get that goals against down like a quarter point and improve that save percentage like 2 points, he'd be a starter on any other team in the NHL. That being said, played well his last game. 31 of 34 shots. Let's try to look at the closer profile of these teams, right? We have the full bandwidth of the season to look at, but we want to kind of see what they're doing. Are they in buy or sell mode? Now, the Oilers have lost 2 straight games. So the Oilers are potentially in sell mode. And the deal, I talked about this with the star player getting out of there. I thought long and hard about this Oilers team. Found a couple conflicting trends. I'm a little bit concerned about the conflicting trends because when you have a team that outscores and outshoots their opponent, it's an issue. Clearly. I mean, that makes most sense, right? That's how hockey's played. If you outscore and outshoot your opponent, it is what it is. But I looked and factored in here. Just as simple as it can be. We talked about this the other day. We see that they go down almost 1.5 goals a game when Connor McDavid's out of the lineup on average. A decent sample. We've got 7-31 to the under without McDavid in there. We've got Thatcher Demko, the starter out there, trying to get back and prove himself after coming off a really solid game. Pickard coming off a decent game himself. I got an even money under 5.5. I got that ride this McDavid. You know, we're gonna play on this lack of McDavid spot. It just this one makes the most sense to me. You know, we got a nice even money hit for it. You can even get a better number now. Let me see. I don't have access to that book, so I don't just line shopping to find the absolute. I got the numbers I give you guys are the books that I have access to. So you can do a little shopping. You can best my number on there, but I still think you want this number because in all, when it comes down to do it, they're just not as offensively savvy without McDavid. And we've got almost a 40-game sample to validate and prove that. So I like it. Give me the under with Thatcher Demko, a bounce back, rematch, revenge spot, all those factors, all those fun things that go into it. It should be a defensive-oriented game, especially when you're out a guy like McDavid. You can't just let the other team run and gun and run the score up on you. You got to play defense. You have to be conservative. You have to be stepping in front of shots. All those things that keep the score low so it's not a blow because you don't have the firepower to catch back up if that be the case. So let's see them start out slow and cook these boys and, a nice little Nice little 1-goal first period would keep us rolling in the right direction. Old E can't wait for Major League Baseball. Pitchers and catches. Really down to like 18 days or something? 17? I don't know. I don't track it that closely. I don't like to fuck around too much with preseason. Before you know it, we'll be only betting on baseball. So I like to savor the time that we have in front of us. But shout out to all you guys coming in here. Dana Delp. Guys, make sure if you're just joining us, get a second, smash that thumbs up button. Get a little light on the thumbs up buttons here. We're having our best week ever. All I ask you guys to do is make some money with me and smash that thumbs up button. All right, here's a little twister. Here's a little missile twister. We got the Pittsburgh Penguins coming in against the Anaheim Ducks. Road Penguins. And we know Chris Letang came back. The boys are getting back to full health. You got Crosby. You got Rust. You got Malkin. I mentioned Hayes. By the way, I like Kevin Hayes. I was disappointed to see him go from Philadelphia. And the line goes on and on and on. It does look like everyone's playing. Full rosters ready to roll on the Pittsburgh Penguins side of things. Same can be said for the Anaheim Ducks side of things here. In fact, looking at Anaheim Ducks, the big deal is who's back in their lineup. Troy Terry. First goal scorer plus 1,500. I'm just saying. Anytime goal scorer for Troy Terry plus 225. He means that much to this Anaheim offense. Vetrano is obviously a big component to this thing as well. And they forced him back in. Well, they didn't force him back in, but they had a tough go of it. They had a tough stretch of the East Coast, right? So look at the Ducks. They're 1-4 in their last 5. They had the shittiest schedule known to man. They go at Carolina. They beat Carolina 3-2. Then they got Washington. They get shut out 3-0. Washington's like leading, the East, right? Then they got Tampa. Fired. They lose to Tampa 4-3. Then they finish off at Florida. They get shut out 3-0. They go back home after a little East Coast get your shit kicked stint. Who do they have? A rematch against the Florida Panthers again. So not an easy go. And this will definitely be a step down in class when it comes to this Ducks and Penguins spot out there. And the flip side of things, this will be the 4th straight road game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're 2-1 in the last 3. They beat Buffalo. What they do? They got their shit pushed in against Washington. It was 4-1. They go to LA. They smack LA. 5-1. You don't know what team you're going to see, but I know when they play lesser competition, like a Seattle, they lose. They lose 4-2. It's going to be an interesting spot to see. I'll tell you, the first pass, I was like -1.5 at plus 165. Well, that sounds pretty tempting. That sounds pretty damn good. Then we saw a little line spot here. Now, this is an interesting one. This is kind of a little bit of a fade because it's kind of turning back. It's pivoting. All streaks are at some point going to flip-flop around. At some point they'll get back to 500. And we're on the way to 500 with this one. We got here is the road favorite when they're lined between -120 and -175 with a 1-game win streak. They're 246 and 138. 246 and 138 on the money line. Now you're going to sit there and go, I got it. They're winning. That trend is 1-9 in its last 10. 1-9. So that trend's on its way back to the means. And furthermore, the puck line is 135 and 249. This is a tight game. There's a reason they're giving you the -1.5 at plus 165 and the plus 1.5 at -183. They expect it to be a 1-goal, potentially even an overtime situation. And in that circumstance, I want to extract as much plus money out of this damn thing as I can. At a plus 136, I'm taking the home team. Taking the home Ducks. Shit schedule. And the step down in class is enough for me with their players coming back. The horses are running. They're in the barn. I realized I skipped the goaltender information. That's how much it mattered to me. It's Nedeljkovic going on the Pittsburgh Penguins side. And Johnny Gibson flopping in net there on the Anaheim Ducks side of things. The better of these two goaltenders, well, Nedeljkovic's got a 3.21 goals against average. Johnny G's got 2.85. Nedeljkovic's got an 89.3% save percentage. Johnny G's got a 90.9. So clearly, if you're looking at it that way, the best of the goaltenders here is going to be starting for the Anaheim Ducks. And I like it. I think it's a good plus money opportunity here. Kick the bookie right in the face with a plus 136 opportunity. And pony on up to this last game in the NHL. Go to Washington and Seattle. It's only right. Now, should have made more of a factor in the last Capitals game we played. They are on the shit list for a reason. But I did win 3-2 against the Oilers. So, yeah, they are on a hell of a win streak right now. They started out hot. They stayed hot even without Ovechkin. He comes back in. They took a little dip back while they shuffled lineups around. Why does that happen? Well, it happens because you've got third and fourth liners that are playing on second lines now, and they're hoping that they don't have to get shot back down to the AHL. So everyone's trying a little bit harder to make sure that they can keep their NHL career going just a little bit longer. Creates a lot of angst and animosity against those guys that are on the first and second line. So it kind of makes sense when the star player comes back that teams do take a little step back. That being said, Kraken are 3-1 in their last 4. They're on their third straight home game. What do you want? I mean, look, they play good teams, they lose. They play bad teams, they win. They bust up Buffalo 6-4. They take down LA 4-2. Then they play a Winnipeg team. They lose 2-1. They beat a Pittsburgh team 4-2. I don't know what happened with that Detroit team at 6-2, but again, it's an inconsistent team. What are you going to get out there? They've been covering a hell of a lot of puck lines, though. 4 straight puck line covers for this Seattle Kraken team. Says that they're playing tight games. It's a battle. And when we see battles, we have to look and see who's in goal. What are they going to do out there, and how are they going to carry us forward? Or do we go and say goals? Well, we got Chucky Lindgren. He'll be starting on the Washington Capitals side of things. He's 10-8-2, 2.65 goals against average, 90% save percentage. Like I said, the Capitals, bright and hot. Joey Decord should go on the other side of things, unconfirmed. I don't know, man. I don't know if it matters. It's Decord or I don't know. 16-10-2, 2.49 goals against average, 91.4% save percentage. This will be the first spot. So they're handing the torch off to the Capitals. They got a 5-game winning streak. Logan Thompson started every single one of those games. They're going to go to Lindgren. I don't know if you saw the buzz. Logan Thompson was saying, no, I never got any calls from Team Canada. I don't know what's going on out there, but clearly maybe a little feeling of slight in that organization that they're still not getting recognized for the Four Nations opportunities that's coming up around the corner here. And both these goaltenders are playing pretty strong. The Kraken, though, do have that back-to-back win streak as well. So this is a battle. Steel forges steel, something like that. I don't know. Here's what I do know. When we got these two teams that meet specifically, the Kraken in the home dog role versus a non-conference team stink. They fight in the Pacific. They fight in the West. They stink against non-conference opponents in the home dog role. They're 1-6. They're just 3-4 on the puck line as well. So it's not like that last game we talked about where the puck line suggested it's a 1-goal game or maybe an overtime spot. They're 3-4. They're 1-5-1 to the under as well. In the home dog non-conference role, they're not supposed to win, and they're not. And they don't see the teams a lot, so they don't know how to necessarily strategize and scheme to go out there and be effective against goaltenders they don't see on a regular basis. Then, the same can be said for the Capitals. When they play non-conference teams, they're 1-9 to the under in their last 10. So we have an intersecting under trend here. Capitals probably come out victorious. I was laughing when I was putting it together because I was like, here we go again. But we do have an over snuck in there with that Utah game. But I love this Capitals Kraken spot under 5.5. A minus 105 is low juice as well. Plus, we got an even money spot on the under 5.5 in Edmonton, and then a Ducks plus money opportunity. I think we have a nice spread on these 4 NHL games here to maximize ROI. Peter Gracia says Ducks cover 1.5 is a nice payoff. Mitchie Morber's in the house, and he says Kraken have lost each of their last 8 night games against opponents on a win streak. I don't not like the Capitals. They are on the shit list. If I do play them on top of the under, you guys will know tonight on the live stream, and they'll have an opportunity to fight their way off the shit list. Got to win more than one for me to get off the shit list, but their unders have been impeccable. Now, we know Joe T's on the over in the first period. He knows the Capitals have been unders, but I don't know if he thinks both teams are – I don't know how he's figuring out that's going to happen, but it seems like he's expecting one or both of these goalies to let a little bit of oil leak out there to stop this thing here in the first period, and then things should tighten up. So if that's the case, you'll have an absolute opportunity to live bet this thing and catch a pretty good number with it, too. You should be able to catch a 6 or a 6.5. And if it gets up to 7.5, listen, if it's a 2-1 first period, let's not panic. Go back, you're going to see the live line is going to be 7.5, and you drop it back to 6.5, and it's going to be like plus 175. Should be the case. Made plenty of money in that scenario. Just kind of sharing with you guys some strategy. A little example on how to attack it. We're going to take off the ice skates. We're going to put on the high tops. We're going to go to the college hardwood. See these boys get out there and run and gun, and we've got the MAAC action. It's the middle of the week, but this is what happens now. We're at that time of year with conference play. Couple of marquee games, like we'll talk about in Maryland and Illinois, but a shitload of bottom feeders. And that's okay because we love it. We love getting in the mud with the pigs. And we got Fairfield and Manhattan, and you can see bottom feeders, MAAC. These two teams are sub 500 in conference play. First number, overall record. Second number, conference record. Because I think it tells you a nice little picture. You can see who's challenging themselves preseason. And how's that correlating in season here? This line opened up at +4 for Fairfield. It's gone to +3.5, so now some threes. And you have 44% of the bets, but you have, I gotta move this over here. My neck. You have 61% of the money, though, coming in on Fairfield. And it's been good enough, despite the smaller public play and tickets being written. 61% of the cash. That's a 17-point differential in favor of the sharps or the bigger bettors. And that's where the books have shown some concern. On the flip side, we're starting to see this number pegged down a little bit now. It's gone from 52% of the bets and 51% of the cash. It sat at 146 all day long. Come down. This is the spot I was saying. I wish I had waited 30 seconds because it's like right after I bet it. I don't know if they're fucking with me. I can't imagine it's just me. But you can catch some really nice numbers now. In fact, when you look at this total, there's a 145, a 145.5, 144.5 back at DraftKings. Man, fuck number did I get? It's tough because this is real life. These are real life decisions. Do I think this point and a half is going to matter? I got a 146.5. I took the over. So I'll slide it right out there and let you guys know. I jumped in on this over, and a lot of it had to do with intersecting zeros. We got perfect over opportunities here. Fairfield, when the spread is sitting there less than a 4, they took a loss. They tried more field goals than their opponent. They're 12-0 to the over. It's a bad break, buy low. They shot a bunch. They made more points. They just couldn't figure it out at the end of the day. The other team must have been going out there splashing threes. 12-0 to the over. On the other side of things with Manhattan, they're 9-0 to the over after a spread win and multiple days rest. They're bludgeoning the total by almost 20 points. They're also 7-0 to the over versus a team that has multiple days rest, and they shot less than 50% that previous game. That kind of intertwines with tried more field goals than your opponent, but just couldn't get the balls to sink. So the buy low, and then you got a rested team playing a team that shot poorly, and they're busting the total. 18.8 points a game. That's why I jumped in on this over. I don't like to see this under. It's like, see, the problem I have with this, and the reason the MAC can fuck off and almost indefinitely. Because it's New York predominant schools, the rules, unless you're offshore or local, you can't play these MAC games. So I whack it. Then I got to go back in and whack it again. Well, for me to whack it a second time, that means I got to shut everything down. I got to go call my bookie, and I got to tell him I need to fucking hit it again. So it doesn't sound like I'm going to be doing that. It doesn't sound like I'll be doing that, but I like the over. I think you guys should strongly consider it. We just talked about the reasons behind it, and I'm in on it. So we'll take the over 146. We got a trifecta spot for why this over makes sense. And it really has a lot to do with the fact that we're buying low on the fact that Fairfield shot poorly and didn't make the poor shots that they made. So, or that they took. So not Fairfield over 146 and a half. It all counts the same. Shout out to Ramon Scott. Asked what the whack-offs. Shout out to Dan. It's like the total game stop Geo. Got 40 and a half. Rick J says people at books have Cavs plus 400 started the fourth quarter last night and lost to those free throws. Yeah, it's Steve Bailey's, but because I'm in New York, I can't jump in there and whack it. Take it. You're getting a better number now. You're getting a better number at it now. We'll go on to game number 2. We'll jump into Maryland and Illinois. This is the big battle. Probably one of the bigger battles of the night. We've got a Maryland team rolling in 500 in the Big Ten. But Illinois, man, number 17 in your programs, but number 1 in your hearts. Or not. But I love Big Ten basketball. Battling teams, man. They're built for indoors because it's cold. It's cold in the wintertime. They play hockey. They play basketball. Obviously, they play some football, and we saw that with Ohio State, but predominantly, I think, basketball programs. So I always get excited when the Big Ten's rolling around. And, I like me some Penn State, of course, biased because it's my favorite school. But as I look at these two spots and I look at these two teams here, going to be a little bit of a later start for us. That'll be, around 8 p.m.? Let me find this thing. Let me pull it. Where'd it go? Where did it go? 9 p.m. Excuse me. And 40% of the bets are on Illinois. 88% of the cash on Illinois. The line was at 7. In the last hour, it's dropped to 6. Shit. 156.5 has gone to 157. 79% of the bets, 78% of the cash are on the under in this thing. I call this the show me game. Maryland's got to show me. They haven't had any true road wins this season. Illinois also coming off that loss at Michigan State. They had back-to-back roadies. They busted up Indiana 94-69, embarrassed them on their road court. Then they lose to Michigan State. 2 points. They were 1-point dog. It was a competitive game, but they lost. In the last 4 days, they've been sitting there stewing on it. I love to look at those spots. On the other side of things, Maryland comes off a desperate push to finish that game 69-66 at home against Nebraska. Missing expectations, they failed to cover the spread. They were laying 9.5. They win by 3 outright. And the tail of the tape, look, statistically, between these two teams, it's got to be all Illinois. I mentioned, haven't won a true road game yet this season as Maryland. And if you look at their combined metrics away from home, they're one of the worst teams in the country. Alpha metrics have them ranked 7th from the bottom. The lines come down a point. I don't know. All in all, if you look at the body of work here, Illinois is pumping. They're number 17, and it's not because they're playing cupcakes. They beat Oregon. They beat Wisconsin. They beat my Penn State. They beat Missouri. I mean, they're out there running and gunning. They have a top 20 team, both offensively and defensively. They're ranked number 17. They're home. You're going to get a better number now than I got in the first place. This is the show me game. You got to show me, Maryland. You haven't done shit outside of your home court. And now you're going into hostile Big Ten country. I wish I could come in here and say I had a 6. I have 7. That sucks. That sucks. It's 2 games in a row. But it is what it is. Look, it is what it is. Peter Grassi says Maryland, Illinois' marquee status night. Rick Jay's going to move to New York. All right. Joe W says 5.5 on DK. This one I will take again. Is there somebody out? Is that why this line's moving? Let me look. the fine folks at Action Network don't do the greatest of jobs with last-minute updates. They do shit for a job when it comes to player props here. Oh, I'm sorry, to player injury news. Wonder if anybody in the chat can tell me if that's the case there. Ramon Scott, he's running so hot. Ramon, if you're still there, are there players getting out of this thing? The Chuck's going to ride with Maryland, plus the points here. No, I don't think they are. I mean, they're big favorites at home. They barely cover. They're going, all right, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm in already. I'm probably going to go back in again if it's 5.5. Should have hit. Okay. Team of love out. Okay. Time of love. Okay. It's funny that a player, well, I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense because college isn't as deep when it comes to their star players, right? Team Steam in the house is old E. Let's go, you guys. Well, I'm on Illinois. I'm not going to undo my bet now. I'm probably going to double down on it and take the 5.5. Again, you got to show me. Maryland hasn't shown shit yet this year. And then the last game, I was going to give you guys the player parlay. My fault. Why didn't anybody ask me? Where's the player parlay? I wanted to start out with that. All right, last game on the docket for me in college. We'll go to the 2 NBA games. We'll wrap her up, put the bow on the show, and get ready for the big live stream tonight. I'm excited. Get to spend some time with the boys. I love these live streams, man. It's like, it's the whole deal. It's like hanging out at the bar with your friends, only my friends are really good at fucking betting. Okay? Utah Valley opens up as a 1.5-point road dog. 63% of the bets and 57% of the cash. So the whole market fucking sleeping all afternoon. 63% of the bets and 57% of the cash on Utah Valley. Thing was sitting at 3 all afternoon. Literally up until, I'll tell you exactly when it changed. 4:55 p.m. It was still sitting at 3. It's dropped to a 2.5 now. You do have some bigger bets, though, coming in on Cal Baptist. Total's gone from 140.5 to 141.5, barely. Some late movement there. 71% of the bets and 71% of the cash. I mean, it's the 11 p.m. game. It's got 3,776 tickets in it. Here's what I think happened. I think Joe Public looked at this thing and said, well, shit, Utah Valley's 13-6 and Cal Baptist is only 9-9. And then they looked at it and they said, boy, look at these conference numbers. Utah Valley's unbeaten in conference. Cal Baptist is only 2-2. But then you look at the total and you look at the side. And if that's the case, we got the old, why did this team open up as a favorite? And with the money coming in on the dog, why did it swell up to a 3? Those are factors that I like to get involved with. You guys know I look for those situations, those trigger points out there. And road dogs that are less than 5.5 on a 6-game or longer win streak are just 4-22 versus teams that allow 72 points on the average on the season. 4-22, 26-game sample. Wrong team opens up as the favorite per the Joe Public spot there, looking at this thing saying, well, man, this team's unbeaten in conference play. But it's that 6, right? We talked about it. It's hard to get past 5. And when you get to 6 or more, you're 4-22. The numbers go down exponentially the more they continue to win. Coupled with the wrong team favorite here is a big win. Abilene Christian, 60-54 for Cal Baptist. They're 500. What are you going to say? They got a big win against Seattle. They didn't cover, but they got the big dub. That was at home. They spent 3 games after that on the road. So this is a return home opportunity against an unbeaten team in conference play that's been covering a shitload of spreads on top of it. It's not for the faint of heart. You want to look at the scheduling and say same team situation. When they played Abilene Christian, they busted them up 64-53. That was January 4th. Cal Baptist held its own, 60-54. A couple points fewer in the offense, but they were on the road. So is Cal Baptist turned up? I think they are. I'm going to take that 4-22 spread, or 4-22 trend, put it in our favor, stick it in our back pocket, see if we can't make some money off these bookies with it. Again, I got the 3. So right now, I guess there's, I don't know. You guys, I don't know if there's 2.5s out there or not, but that's the side I want to be in. Shout out to Razor Sharp Picks in the house. Joe Dub says, what about the Sam Houston game? I said this on Ramon's show earlier today. I thought the wrong team was favored. Sam Houston's got themselves a pretty little streak going at home at night. 14 of its last 15 games they've won at home against a Middle Tennessee team that needs to show me. Middle Tennessee's in that show me position, just like we talked about before. I like Sam Houston. I was ready for that one. I don't know why I was ready for that one, but you got me. And Nanya says, anyone down to watch and cheer for Bricks? You know we're going to be cheering for Bricks here tonight. We're going to be cheering for the tick, 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 tick. My guy, Razor Sharp Picks. He's got a big race stream on Saturday. I think he pops off at like 11 a.m. if I'm not mistaken, Razor. Go get you, my friend. All right. Let's move into the NBA. I'm going to pop this on the screen. It's our boys. It's our boys. Giddy's back. That means we don't take the 3s anymore with Vucevic. We go to the over 10.5 rebounds. Not only do we go to the over 10.5 rebounds, but dude's coming in with rest. And he's got the advantage of a busted-up lineup for Golden State. Without Kuminga, without Draymond Green, they were bad to rebound in the first place. Vuce is coming in. He's been firing. Double-digit rebounds is the name of the game for this guy. The Warriors allow the 5th most rebounds to their opponents, and Vuce is averaging 10.5. And he's coming off a game where he only got the 8. So we got that going in our back pocket. They're putting it back at 10.5. We'll go on to our next feller here. Scotty Barnes. Scotty, show it to me, Barnes. To start with this game, it's the highest total on the board. That means it's got to be points, right? It's 237. Atlanta's got themselves a little 10-0 to the over when they're playing a conference opponent off of a spread loss that got busted up by multiple points, and they had less than 12 turnovers. Busted up, over spot for the Hawks. Highest total on the board, Hawks in an over position. Then we look at good old Scotty and its minutes, 34.7 minutes a game on average. We want their guys out there when it comes down to it. Not a lot more than that to go off of here. He's kind of low on the number here. So this thing started at 19.5. It's gone to 20.5. And he hasn't gotten over 20 in his last 3 games. So kind of like a fade is recent lack of production, and incorporating the fact that the line is moving in that direction for him is why Scotty Barnes made the list. And then last but not least, Christian Braun. Talked about this dude last game. Remember I said about the ladder? Take him over 15 points. It was like plus 345. What do you end up with? 20? Was it 22 or something like that? He crushed it. He's been killing it. And a lot of it's because of his teammates. He plays with Joker and Russ. Good old Russie Westbrook. So his number was sitting at 10.5. That was the number last game. They finally bumped it up. Finally. He's gone over the number in his last 4 games from a points perspective. Kind of an underlier out there. He's kind of sneaks. And he's gone under the number 4 times. He didn't play the fourth quarter in 2 of those games. So he's getting minutes. He's got the right guys to couple with him. He's got a low number out there pegged for us at 11.5. The books have finally adjusted it up. This is another one of those spots there where we have a big total on the board. Should see points. Should be a great play for ourselves and Christian Braun. And we stick all 3 of those together. It's a plus 606. That's what I got. That's what I'm talking about. Take a big swing for this one tonight. I think it makes sense for us. I think we're going to cash. Shout out to you, Razor. My invoice. I'm going to copyright that fucker and stick it back on you. How about that? I'm going to copyright you. That's how that's going to go, Razor. But lots of luck this weekend, my friend. Coin's got some under action in the NBA. He's got Orlando under 213.5. The Lakers plus 6.5 for the NBA for our guy Coin tonight. Nani's going to have an invoice coming. He's ready for it. All right. Just 2 games to start this card off, and then we'll dig in deeper as we get time on the live stream tonight after busting through all those games. Man, it's not a lot of time. It's just not. Where does the time go? I don't know. But I need you guys to hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so, especially Razor Sharp Picks. He's not a thumbs up guy. You know I'm always nagging on him. You got to press that thumbs up. I tell him you got to do it on both streams, Razor. We're on live on 2 streams. You got to press it on both streams, Razor. Although you only have to do it here once, Razor. Only once tonight. Portland Trailblazers, Orlando Magic open up. The Trailblazers at 8.5. This has gone to 7.5. It's gone down to 7. It's popped back up to 7.5. Why? In lineup-related news. 60%, we'll get to that in a second. 60% of the bets and 57% of the cash are on the Blazers. The Fire Blazers. And I get it. The other side of things is the total. It's gone up 3.5 points. 3 points, excuse me. Started up pretty low at 209.5. We've seen some lower scoring games from the Trail Blazers. I guess we've also seen them from the Magic, with that being said. Then we look and we've got 74% of the bets and 75% of the cash coming in on the over, and that has tripped it. They've tripped that number up 3 points now because of that concern for the over. Look, the Magic beat the shit out of bad teams. When they're home, we talked about Atlanta having one of the worst home courts. Orlando's got one of the best, especially against cupcakes. They've won 29 of 30 games against teams at home when they have a losing record. Crazy. It's a crazy number. But I don't care. I don't care. This is, to me, we talked about this with hockey. This is one of those spots where you're kind of fortunate to find this opportunity. We got the Magic coming in on a 4-game losing streak. Now, they did have 3 of those 4 games on the road. They really weren't competitive in any of them. They got busted up by Milwaukee, 122-93. They got busted up by Boston, 121-94. They lost 113-100. I mean, I call it busted up, I guess. That was at home against Denver. And they got busted up by Toronto, 109-93. Icing on the cake. You lost to Toronto. You're a 1-point favorite. And you got busted up. Now, we were on Toronto. We had the Toronto in the under parlay in that game for a little plus 270 action, something like that. But don't look now. Portland's firing. They beat up Chicago, 113-102. Talk about Chicago in a minute. They go to Miami, their last game. They win 116-107. And for any of you guys that buy into that South Beach shit, they're in South Beach. And all right, well, they had a day off in between. So it's a minimal travel spot, even if they aren't there for business and they're there to fuck around on the beach, which I don't necessarily buy into. Maybe a nice dinner, but I never bought into any of that. I heard some people talking today about the LA factors, and they're like, "Oh, when the team goes to LA, they want to hang out." That's just weak. In fact, we just saw the situation where the team was it the Nets. The Nets played the Clippers. Can't remember. They didn't do shit the first game against the Lakers. And the second game, they go out there, they almost beat the Clippers outright as dogs. They want to party in LA. Stop. Roll your fucking sleeves up and do some capping. That's what I have to say. That being said, we got some numbers around this Portland spot that I want to take advantage of here. Where did the fucking notes go again? Who keeps taking my notes? Did I close them out? Oh, they're there. They're tucked all the way in the corner. That's why I didn't see it. It's okay, everybody. Found them. All right. Orlando is 10-0 at home against the spread when they haven't covered their previous 3. That's why I referenced the fact on that little 4-game stint or jaunt. But we've talked about how it matters when teams match up against divisions or not. They're built to play within certain divisions, and then you can kind of see the ripple effect when they go against other teams in those divisions. Well, that being said, Portland at home stinks. We talked about this like 2 weeks ago. Fades at home, almost automatic. When the spread's less than a 12 and they're playing the East on the road, they are 9-0 against the spread. They need to get away from Dodge. And they're playing better. They're built to beat teams in the West, or at least play against teams in the West. But maybe the East is a little bit softer. It's kind of the haves and the have-nots. You got kind of the Cavaliers and the Celtics, and then kind of everybody else. And that's why you see a team that's shitty like Portland able to go out there and compete. Furthermore, the icing on the cake for me, Wagner's back. Contavious Pope is back. Banchero's back. Carter Jr.'s playing. Black's playing. They got minutes restrictions on everybody out there. Today, my estimation is this isn't a spot where where Orlando is trying to think about beating Portland. They're trying to think about acclimating their players that have all been on hiatus for the last 6 weeks to get back into the NBA. And we see that Portland matches up good against those teams anyways. So now you got minutes restrictions. I saw 24 minutes at most for Wagner. This should be an opportunity where they're going to be watching the clock and Portland's going to be looking at the score. And I think there's an opportunity clearly for the live dog here. And we've been pretty damn dialed in. So shout out to Caleb Daniels. Caleb Daniels coming in with a $20 dono. My God. Whoa. What you want to know, my dude? Would Andre Miller be in the Role Player Hall of Fame if there was one? There should be. Don't you think there should be? Some guys got to play their role, man. Look at shit. I don't know. Maybe. Would Jeremy Lin be in the Role Player Hall of Fame? Would he qualify in there as well? I mean, Linsania or Lin Mania, whatever it was called, was crazy. But he was really just kind of a resident role player that sold at a high. I don't know. It's a good question, Caleb, but I appreciate you making the dono for us. Man, that gets me jacked up. I'm fired up. You got me kicked in the right direction, blessing our action, Caleb. I will give you a shot on the live stream, my friend. Appreciate you rocking with us here. $20 dono. Gets me fired up. You guys know I get passionate about that stuff. We're listener supported, man. We need your guys' help to keep the lights on and get to do this stuff that we do to make this money. So, Caleb, appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much on behalf of Sports Money. Appreciate you, my dude. Rockstar. Let's go. Last game. Last game on the docket, and then we will get rolling. Shout out to Caleb, man. $20 donos. Huge, brother. Appreciate you. All right, last game on the card. I got to go with the Bulls here against the Golden State Warriors with a spot where the number's starting to come down a little bit. Number is starting to come down just a teensy bit. Going to be late night, 10 p.m. Not the late night special. That will be the Wizards and Clippers. And it'll probably be on the under. But this one was 4.5. It's dropped to 2. It's now since gone to 1.5. Which is interesting because you have 64% of the bets on Golden State and 57% of the cash. There's that differential we're looking for. Guess what this item was on? The Sharp Steam report. It's not the Sharp Steam. It's the Respected Sharp report, I think is what it's called. But it doesn't matter because then we see this little 7 points there and it validates it. There's a little bit of a higher uptick and that bigger, better is reputable, and it's dropped this line from 4.5 to 2 down to 1.5. The total's coming down. 230s are down to 228.5. 85% of the bet, 79% of the cash on the over, and yet it's going under. We talked about the Voos over 10.5 rebounds. You know that's my dude. I think that's a great spot. And I don't, we talked about this when we started riding the Giddey or the Voos train for the threes. That was because Giddey. When Giddey comes out of the lineup, he becomes the three-point guy from outside the perimeter. I mean, he was shooting like 5 times, 6 times a game with a Giddey-less Chicago Bulls team. He comes back in, he transitions over, and he's playing rebound man. Feed the ball, chuck it around. Golden State, on the other hand, we talked about it in kind of the breakdown with the prop bets there, right? A couple dudes out of this thing here. Draymond Green's out. Now, Curry's questionable. Payton's questionable. I almost think this line's where it is because it's telling you that we're probably not going to see a Curry spot out there. Payton's questionable. Kuminga's out for sure. Waters is questionable. I mean, everyone's questionable. Flip side of things, Kobe White's questionable. Josh Giddey has moved to probable. Keep your eye on that because I still like the rebounds prop for Voos. He's been in there to gear up for rebounds today. But if he comes out, maybe we take a look at his three-pointers as well and we do a same-game parlay. But I'm rolling here. I got to jump in with this Chicago Bulls team. I'm not the biggest Bulls fan in the world, especially because they're kind of in a tricky little situation. But I kind of like this little correlated spot that we have here. Unrested favorites off a loss that had a double-digit lead at halftime. Shit the bed as a favorite with a lead at halftime. They're 38-62. It's 38-62-5. I'm so big on the way you finish a game, that momentum or lack thereof has a big pivot to how you start the next game as well. And that trend kind of speaks to that. You blew it. And then you look at the Bulls. 11-0 to the under when they've got rest and committed less than 13 turnovers. So they won't have tired legs, so they'll be playing defense. And they're not fucking around with taking chances with less than 13 turnovers. So you got a team that lost momentum in the second half of the game in the Golden State Warriors. You got a team that's coming in rested, not committing bullshit mistakes. Suspect lineup for Golden State to begin with. Sharp, respected, better report concurs. We're going to take the Bulls. We're going to take the +2, and that's how we're going to put the bow on the show. How about that, you guys? Rocking and rolling. Appreciate everybody hanging out here, doing this thing with us tonight. I want to shout all you guys out. I appreciate everybody rocking here with us. But look, the live stream pops off here in about 10 minutes. And I know that stream didn't start without me. So, because I got to push the button. But the fellas will be there. We're going to be ready to go. And you got a whole bunch of picks for me. But don't you worry, because these fellas are fired up. They're ready to go. We got NBA experts. We got NHL experts. We got you name it. We're rolling out there tonight. Opinions on all kinds of games across the board. So get yourselves ready. Get a cocktail. Freshen up the ice cube tray. You're going to want some ice tonight. First game's going to pop off around 7, probably 7:35, 7:40 is the TNT game between the Heat and the Bucks. But that don't mean that's the only game we're rocking. You guys know the deal. The best part about this live stream crew here with Sports Money is we hammer the entire board. And we've got so many eyes geared on these spots, looking for their plays and watching them live bet along the way. How can we not be victorious at the end of the day? Smash that thumbs up button. I appreciate every one of you guys. We've been cashing all week with it. I got to go to the outro. Shout out to my man, Jay Peasy. And we'll see you guys back here in about 10 minutes. How about that? Appreciate everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming out today. And thank you, Caleb, for the $20 dono. You the man, brother. Good luck with your action. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. We don't stop. Rain, sleet, or snow. Pregaming is good to go.
Snow, Curtis blow, flow, fuck all you haters. Fuck making bitch using best simulators. Fuck cashing in, all we wanna do is win. Put the juice in the gin, now it's time to begin. Fuck the books, they can take it on the chin. Surrendering dividends, don't fuck with my gambling show. Starts with capping and ends with them slapping and stacking cash and boatloads. They won't know what happened. It's pre-gaming and others, they seem lame. Like Abel meeting Cain, a bullet to the brain. We don't give a fuck like Kiki said. We ain't playing. We ain't playing, but we ain't playing.
I'm back and I'm joined with my guy,